Hey, what's going on, everybody? How's it going? Today apparently there's a new TikTok trend going around killing people. Of course there is, because why not? And Charlie's gonna tell us about it, and we're gonna watch it.
Becoming more and more convinced that TikTok is actually a weapon used to weed out stupid people.
Natural selection.
Because this story is not the first of its kind. This is not an
No,
isolated incident where a TikTok trend or
no, on TikToks are people are dumb.
challenge leads to a lot of fatalities. It's honestly getting
Like the one where they stole cars and were killing each other with them.
to the point where these headlines feel like they're AI generated. Like the one we're talking about today feels like a fake story put into Grand Theft Auto as a joke. Just something they slid in there as something silly. But it's apparently legitimate. There's a TikTok trend called the boat jumping challenge.
The boat jumping challenge. Oh my god. There was a story like a month or two ago where a guy jumped off a cruise ship and died in the middle of the night. And now they come up with this. Like, that guy's a pussy, he died. So, oh my god, I hate TikTokers. I hate them.
Which is responsible for at least 4 people's deaths recently.
Of course it is.
And the challenge, as the name would imply, is jumping off of a boat going.
Of course they died in Alabama. Hey, what's going on, brother? Hell yeah, just fucking die, brother. Hell yeah, we watched the TikTokers.
Extremely fast. You don't need a master's degree in physics to figure out why this is dangerous, but
Yeah, really.
just in case, I'll lay down the brass tacks.
I know why it's dangerous, because, like, I was watching that abroad in Japan, and he fell off of a jet ski and punctured just by hitting the water with his head wrong. It ripped open his ear, and he had to wait for that shit to heal, and he almost got permanent hearing damage.
So I'm gonna sit you down in the classroom here for the lecture, so spit out your gum. Since the boat is moving so fast, when you jump off of it, you hit the water hard as shit.
Yeah, it's like
You
it's like jumping into concrete.
generate a lot of force behind that impact. It's a goddamn wallop. So what's happening is when people are jumping
You can break your ribs and puncture something.
off of the boats, they're hitting the water and then snapping their necks and drowning.
Oh,
It's an easily
that's worse than what I just said.
preventable and probably the most embarrassing death imaginable because you killed yourself for a goofy ass TikTok challenge. And I also hate that everything in the world is called a challenge these days.
Yeah.
That word has lost
Living is just a challenge. I mean, living's been a challenge since the beginning of time, so.
all meaning. There's nothing challenging about this. Jumping off a boat doesn't have any level of difficulty or skill to it. The only challenge, I guess, is surviving it. Like avoiding being banished to the fucking Shadow Realm for it. But I'm so fucking tired of everything getting called a challenge, you know? Here's the poop without wiping challenge. You take a
I knew he was gonna say some shit.
shit and you don't use any toilet paper or a bidet to clean your anus. Expert difficulty, ultra nightmare
I mean, you just get chafing and then a disease, a rash, and then you die of dysentery.
mode, impossible challenge. You won't last 5 seconds. It's so dumb. I'm so tired of everything getting labeled a challenge. But anyway, this trend of boat jumping is responsible for at least 4 deaths. And like I mentioned, that is just the saddest
And there's
way of
probably
going
more to
out.
come.
Not only is it like an agonizingly slow, painful death, but that is just you're probably getting made fun of in the afterlife for that.
Yeah.
Dying for a stupid TikTok trend, you know the angels are shooting spitballs at you. Like that is like it's just a shameful way of exiting this corporeal realm and shedding the mortal coil. That is so fucking sad. Like I feel horrible that, people have, perished from it, but I honestly am stunned by just
dumb.
how quickly the human brain is devolving. This is like Human Instincts 101
Yeah, I mean, civilization is getting lazier because shit's becoming easier for us.
shit. Like, this is common sense. This is an instinct you're born with. Not to, like, jump off of something going fast because it'll create bad ouchie boo-boo moment. Fucking cavemen probably would know not to jump off of, like, a speeding vehicle like this. I just don't understand how anyone would see this challenge and think that it was somehow safe or wasn't dangerous. Like, you'd have to know. You would have to know. And another thing is, it's so traumatizing, like, dying this way, not only because it was extremely avoidable, but because it's most likely done in front of your family and friends. Like, if you're on a boat, you're probably not on a boat with strangers. That's not exactly like you can call up an Uber to do this with. You can't just call up like a boat service, right, to pick you up and do this TikTok trend. So you had friends and family around you filming you, and then you did the TikTok suicide challenge right in front of them, and they watched you die and fucking filmed it. That is scarring. That is
up.
that is incomprehensibly nightmarish. So, like, this whole thing is...
But it's natural selection.
It's shocking.
Let these dumb idiots take themselves out.
Actually even do this.
Fuck it.
Like, 4 deaths from it is surprisingly low, actually. I imagine that's only the reported ones so far, assuming
probably.
this is a popular trend. And I decided to look it up myself on TikTok to see how big the trend was. And it seems like it was pretty big, and there are still quite a few surviving videos of people doing the challenge, but all of them seem to at least had the foresight to recognize that, you know, pushing that bitch wide open on the boat going like 60 would have been a complete disaster and led to a Mortal Kombat fatality. So the ones that are on there right now are slow boats. They're going slow, so that way they don't hurt themselves doing it or like get seriously injured from it. Whereas most people, I guess, didn't recognize that and amplified the danger, fucking evil, and actually just...
They probably called those other people pussies and were like, yeah, fuck that pussy shit, we're going!
...drived their boat and jumped off, which led to these 4 deaths in Alabama. This whole situation proves to me, with my fucking tinfoil hat conspiracy theory, that there has to be some kind of shadow organization, the puppet masters pulling the strings of TikTok, that are in this think tank coming up with the most dangerous trends and challenges, knowing that stupid people will die doing it as a way of like population control or something. Like, not only is TikTok legitimately rotting the brains of so many people, but they're not satisfied with that. They're gluttonous for more punishment of the human species. So they're coming up with challenges like this, knowing that people will die doing it. Because like I said, this is far from the only one. There's also, of course, like the blackout challenge, which was literally suffocating yourself. And some people died doing that, which obviously, but that was the whole fucking challenge. Basically, you just strangle yourself until you're about to pass out, and some people died from it. But point is, there's so many of these challenges now. This is just the most recent one. And what's even crazier is I think back to the Tide Pod challenge, how everyone all at once recognized the stupidity and the danger of it, and yet that didn't have nearly as many deaths or injuries as any TikTok trend that comes out. Like, every big TikTok trend has like at least a handful of deaths associated with it at this point. And even extending further beyond Tide Pod challenge, many people forget this one, but it's one I look back on with a big fucking smile on my face that someone even tried it. There was something called the hot coil challenge, which was only ever done by one person. It was a dude who just turned his fucking stovetop on and then put his bare forearm on it and let it incinerate his flesh. So he just slams his arm onto the stovetop and lets that motherfucker simmer. He is in there just letting it cook. So he holds it there for a little bit, obviously just melting the flesh off, fucking cremating his forearm, and called it the hot coil challenge. And that would have been less detrimental to human health than fucking TikTok trends like the boat jumping challenge. There would have been less deaths in the hot coil challenge than there are in things like the boat jumping challenge and blackout challenge and all of that.
That's fucked up.
That's so crazy. Now, this isn't exactly related to the boat jumping challenge, but I want to illustrate just how dangerous water speed is.
Oh, yeah.
There is
like hitting concrete.
A record for the fastest water speed ever achieved, and it was set back in the 70s. And you'd think upon hearing that, like, oh, we've advanced well beyond that with technology. How have we not been able to beat a record from the 70s when it comes to water speed? And that's because it's considered the most hazardous thing to ever engage in. It's the most dangerous record to ever try and break. There's a whole Wikipedia page dedicated to it. Of the last 13 attempts to break the water speed world record...
Fucking blind me. What the fuck? Put this shit on dark mode.
There have been 7 deaths. And the 2 most recent attempts both ended in catastrophe and death.
By blindness.
It is a record that most people don't really want to challenge because it is so fucking dangerous.
Well, yeah.
I feel like a lot of people just don't recognize how dangerous water can be, which is a silly thing to say.
Not only is it dangerous in itself, but the things that live in it are dangerous.
Because I feel like most people should be able to, but
And I'm not just talking about sharks, a big thing. Even in freshwater, there's like parasites and shit that'll swim up into your orifices and just eat you from the inside out.
we're living in clown times right now where people are just
Water's dangerous.
they're not thinking
It's
anymore.
fucked up.
They see internet engagement and all rational thought goes right out the window. So it's fucking dangerous. Obviously, this boat jumping challenge was going to lead to serious injury and death. And yet, people were blinded in the pursuit of clout. A story as
Everyone
old as
wants to
time
be
now.
famous.
Well, not really. A story as old as 3 or 4 years now, with how desperate people are for clout, that they are actually killing themselves for it. So yeah, just kind of wanted to talk about this a little bit. That's about it. See ya.
All right, see you later, Charlie. If you liked the video, like the video. If you disliked it, dislike the video. This video will be in the description below, and subscribe, and then have a nice day after you do that. I'll see ya. I am out.